Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm a former fighter pilot, and today I'm watching something that's been causing quite a stir across the aviation community: the new Chinese J-20 airshow footage. You might have already seen a few clips online, but I'm going to take you through this from a pilot's perspective: what's happening, what it really means, and why this new footage might change the way we think about air superiority. Alright, let's roll the footage. First frame that silhouette, no mistaking it. Twin-engine stealth fighter, angular body, canard configuration. That's the Chengdu J-20, or as NATO calls it, the mighty dragon. I remember the first time I saw one, back when the early prototypes leaked online. Grainy photos, speculation everywhere. But now, watching this new footage, the difference is night and day. The jet we're seeing now isn't a prototype, it's a refined, confident, combat-ready aircraft showing off its capabilities. Now, the first thing that grabs my attention here: the takeoff roll. The J-20 accelerates fast, really fast. You can hear the engines spooling up with that deep, throaty roar. In earlier Airshows, that sound was almost entirely Russian, those AL-31F engines from the Su-27 lineage. But now, this sounds different. Deeper, cleaner, more consistent. I'd bet good money we're hearing China's own WS-15 engines here. If that's true, it's a major leap forward. For years, the Achilles heel of the J-20 was its power plant. But now, it sounds like they've solved that problem. Look at that rotation: smooth, graceful. The nose lifts early, the landing gear tucks in fast. That tells me the pilot's confident and the thrust-to-weight ratio has improved significantly. The J-20 climbs almost vertically for a few seconds before banking left, catching sunlight on that matte gray body. You can actually see how the stealth coating diffuses reflections. As a pilot who has flown both stealth and non-stealth jets, I can tell you that finish isn't cosmetic. That's radar absorbent material doing its job. Let's pause right here, take a look at those canards. This is what always sparked debate in the West. Some argued that adding canards breaks stealth symmetry. But here's what I think: the Chinese engineers optimized the angles and deflection patterns to minimize radar cross-section while retaining agility. From the looks of it, those canards are constantly adjusting, micro-trimming airflow, giving that massive jet fighter-like precision at low speeds. Now, check out this maneuver: a high alpha turn right after takeoff. The nose stays locked on target while the aircraft drifts sideways. That's not something you can fake. That's advanced flight control software plus thrust vectoring. The early J-20s couldn't pull this off cleanly. But this one's dancing in the air. It's controlled aggression, beautiful to watch. Let's talk aerodynamics for a second. The J-20's fuselage is long and sleek, optimized for supersonic interception rather than close-in dogfighting. When I was flying F-16s, we had short coupled bodies designed for agility. The J-20's philosophy is different. It's about reach, stealth, and situational dominance. You don't build a plane like this to spin in circles, you build it to detect, fire, and disappear. Now we're seeing it from a top-down camera, sunlight hitting that diamond-shaped wing. The airshow commentator in the background is saying something in Mandarin about meaning indigenous power. That confirms it. This bird's flying with domestic WS-15 engines. For years, China had to rely on imported power plants, but now, they're standing on their own. As a pilot, hearing that engine tone, I can tell you, that's pure thrust. It's not just about horsepower, it's about responsiveness. When the pilot moves the throttle, the engines react instantly. That's critical in combat. You don't want lag, you want muscle on demand. Now look at this slow speed pass. That's gutsy. The J-20 flies past the crowd at barely over stall speed, nose slightly raised, canards adjusting constantly, engines balancing thrust output. I can tell the flight control system is working overtime to keep it steady. But that's the point, this isn't just a show of power, it's a demonstration of control. Every movement, every micro adjustment, that's precision flying. If you pause right at the midpoint, you'll notice the weapons bay doors briefly open. That's intentional. It's a flex. They're showing that the internal bay can open and close seamlessly mid-flight, essential for stealth combat. Those internal bays house beyond visual range missiles, likely the PL-15 China's long-range air-to-air missile that can reportedly hit targets up to 200 kilometers away. If those claims are accurate, it could outrange even the AIM-120D in the US arsenal. Let's talk maneuverability. Watch this segment, a rapid pitch-up followed by a corkscrew roll. That's not a typical airshow move. It's almost a challenge to the skeptics. Early Western analysts used to say, the J-20's too big, it won't handle like a fighter. But here, it's performing post-stall maneuvers once thought impossible for its size. It's no Su-35 Cobra dancer, but it's got finesse, and that means its control laws and flight software have evolved dramatically. Now, I want to pause and address something a lot of my fellow Western pilots talk about: the J-20's purpose. Some say it's a strike interceptor. Others call it a stealth fighter. I think it's both, but strategically designed for Chinese doctrine. The J-20 isn't built to fight every dogfight. It's built to dominate from a distance. It's part of a layered defense and offense system: radar networks, AWACS, data link integration, long-range sensors. It's not flying alone, it's flying as part of a digital web. Now the pilot initiates a high-G loop, the vapor cones start forming, that's transonic airflow compressing as the jet pulls through. You can see the condensation hugging the wings, the canards cutting arcs through the mist. That's the kind of visual every pilot loves, the raw power of physics meeting human control. Let me talk about cockpit visibility, something pilots always notice. From the footage, the canopy is a gold-tinted bubble, giving wide lateral vision. That's essential for situational awareness. The pilot's helmet is likely integrated with a helmet-mounted display, similar to what we use in the F-35. If so, they can lock targets just by looking. That's a game changer in air combat. And then here comes the low altitude knife edge pass. This part always makes me smile. The J-20 banks hard, almost scraping the air itself, engines roaring, vapor trails curling off the wingtips. That's not just skill, that's confidence. Confidence in the airframe, in the engines, in the pilot. Pause again, let's talk radar. The J-20 reportedly uses an AESA radar developed by the Nanjing Research Institute. AESA stands for Active Electronically Scanned Array, same tech we use on the F-22 and F-35. It allows the radar beam to move electronically, without mechanical motion, scanning faster and more stealthily. Combine that with China's advances in infrared search and track IRST, and you've got a fighter that can silently detect stealth targets without emitting radar waves. That's what I'd call a serious threat. Now, you'll notice during this inverted pass the intake design. It's got those DSI diverterless supersonic intakes bumps on both sides. They're shaped to redirect shock waves without needing moving parts. That's smart. Fewer moving parts means less weight, less maintenance, and more stealth. We use similar principles on the F-35, but the J-20's design takes a unique twist. When I watch this footage, one thing stands out: how smooth the pilot's control inputs are. No jerky movements, no overcorrection. That means the fly-by-wire system is mature. Early on, people speculated that China copied Western control laws. Maybe they learned, but this isn't imitation, it's evolution. They've built their own logic into it. Let us move to the vertical climb sequence. Afterburners blazing, twin tails glowing like molten gold. That climb rate is impressive. The vapor trail dissipates almost instantly, meaning the engines are pushing clean, efficient thrust. From that altitude, the pilot levels off and performs a tight barrel roll. That's not just for the crowd, that's to show power to weight confidence. I can't help but compare this to when I first flew an F-15C Eagle years ago. That jet was all power and brute force. The J-20 feels different, it's quiet confidence. Less roar, more precision. It doesn't shout, it whispers strength. Now, let us talk about stealth geometry. Look at the side profile: canted vertical stabilizers, smooth belly contour, serrated edge weapon bay doors. Every line has a reason. Even the exhaust nozzles are now serrated, a design move to reduce radar signature and heat visibility. That means they're addressing not just radar, but also infrared stealth. Western stealth tech had a 30-year head start, but China's catching up faster than anyone predicted. Then comes the hover moment: almost stationary, nose up, engines countering gravity. That's where you see pure artistry. The pilot's playing the air like an instrument. That's what I love about Airshow. It's not about showing off, it's about communicating mastery. You can feel the pride through the camera. When I watch this, I also think strategically. The J-20's not being built in small numbers anymore. Estimates say over 200 are in active service. That's not an experiment, that's a fleet. For a country's Air Force, once you hit triple-digit numbers in 5th-gen jets, that's a strategic transformation. I've heard fellow pilots say, well, it's not battle-tested. True. But neither was the F-22 until it was. You can't underestimate capability just because it hasn't been used. After that landing, the footage cuts to close-ups, and I pause the video for a moment. You can see the surface detailing on the J-20: panel alignment, coating texture, rivet treatment. It's all much tighter than early variants. I remember, back in 2016, the fit and finish looked rough: visible seams, paint inconsistencies. Now, it's immaculate. That tells me the manufacturing precision has reached Western standards. For a stealth aircraft, every millimeter counts. Misaligned panels can light up a radar return like a beacon. But here, the craftsmanship is evident. And let us not overlook the sensor suite. Beneath the nose, there's a clear bubble: the electro-optical targeting system (EOTS). Looks eerily similar to what Lockheed uses on the F-35, but with its own design philosophy. Above the nose, there's another dome, possibly part of the distributed aperture system (DAS). This setup allows the pilot to have 360 degrees coverage, detecting threats, tracking missiles, identifying enemy aircraft visually, even through cloud cover. That's the future of situational awareness: not just radar, but multispectral vision. As a fighter pilot, you live and die by information. Whoever sees first, shoots first. And from what I'm seeing, the J-20's architecture supports that philosophy perfectly. It's a hunter, not just a brawler. Now, something else I notice: the size. The J-20's massive. Longer than an F-22, closer to the F-111 in length, with a large internal volume. That's intentional. It's not just about fuel. That space gives it range, and range equals dominance in the Pacific theater. From a Chinese perspective, they need fighters that can operate far from home bases out to the first island chain and beyond. The J-20 fills that gap. When I flew combat patrols, fuel was always your invisible enemy. You plan your mission, check your load, calculate return margins, but no matter how advanced your avionics, range is life. Watching the J-20 move with such grace while carrying internal fuel sufficient for long-range missions, that's what makes it a serious strategic tool. Let's talk data links. Chinese sources mention the J-20 integrates with their KJ-500 AWACS and Type 055 destroyers. That means real-time targeting and threat sharing across land, sea, and air assets. That's network-centric warfare, something only a few countries can do effectively. The US pioneered it, but now China's closing that gap fast. When you watch the Airshow footage, you might miss the subtle data antenna housings near the dorsal spine, but I can't. That's the giveaway. Those fairings aren't decorative. They're nodes for communication, probably part of their own Link 16 style encrypted system. Now, I want to talk about the flight feel. Even from a screen, you can tell how well a jet's balanced. The way the J-20 transitions from roll to yaw, the way it recovers from post-stall, it's buttery smooth. That's fly-by-wire mastery. Those control algorithms don't just appear overnight. It takes decades of testing, simulation, and pilot feedback. That tells me China's pilot training program is evolving just as fast as their hardware. I know Western audiences sometimes assume the J-20's just for show. But when you see a machine that steady, that responsive, you realize this isn't propaganda, it's proficiency. Another key moment in this footage: the pair flight. Two J-20s flying in close formation, tight, synchronized. That's not easy with stealth jets. The radar signatures are so low that maintaining spacing visually and via passive sensors takes real coordination. The lead pilot banks right, the wingman mirrors perfectly. No wobble, no correction delay. That's professional flying. If you listen carefully, you can even hear the new engine note as they pass. It's sharper, higher pitched, meaning more efficient turbine RPM and cleaner compression. That means WS-15 is not just working, it's thriving. That engine is rumored to push over 180 knots of thrust, comparable to the F-119 powering the F-22. If those numbers are even close, China's finally in the big leagues of jet propulsion. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. In my time as a pilot, we always studied potential adversaries not to fear them, but to understand them. The J-20's design philosophy tells me this: China didn't just copy. They learned. They absorbed lessons from Western and Russian designs, then tailored them to their own doctrine. It's not mimicry, it's synthesis. They prioritized long-range detection, stealth intercept, and sensor fusion. They didn't need a close combat dogfighter like the F-16 or Rifle. They needed an air dominance platform that fits their strategic geography: wide oceans, extended engagement zones, and control over early warning corridors. And now, looking at this footage, I realize they've achieved it. Let's dive into stealth optimization again. You see those angled exhaust nozzles and subtle body curvature around them? That's not just aesthetic. That's a deliberate attempt to mask infrared emissions, the biggest Achilles heel of stealth aircraft. Even the best radar cross-section can't hide your heat plume. But these exhausts seem to diffuse it effectively, bending it upward. That's a trick we've only seen in top-tier stealth designs. Now, during one of the passes, the pilot performs a sudden role reversal at high speed, a stress test for both airframe and control system. You can see the compression waves dancing along the fuselage. That's a gorgeous moment, one that tells you how rigid and resilient the composite structure is. Those are advanced carbon fiber and titanium lithium alloys at play, keeping the airframe stable under enormous stress. As a pilot, you can almost feel the G-forces watching it. Your body remembers. The pressure in the chest, the strain on the neck, the blurred vision as blood fights to stay in your head. It's poetry and punishment in one motion. I remember my instructor once told me, "A good jet flies you, a great jet becomes you." Watching this footage, I can tell the J-20's crossing that line. It's becoming an extension of its pilot. Let us compare briefly to the F-22 Raptor. The Raptor is still the gold standard, no question. But the J-20's not far behind in certain parameters. Its nose cross-section is arguably even smaller, thanks to sharper shaping. Its canopy blends more seamlessly into the fuselage. Its internal bays are larger, allowing for not just air-to-air missiles but potentially even small air-to-ground payloads. That's flexibility. And here's what truly surprises me: the discipline of this display. The pilot's not overdoing it. No flashy Cobra maneuvers, no unnecessary afterburner waste. Every move is deliberate, rehearsed, almost serene. That's maturity. Early Airshows are all about proving capability, later ones are about demonstrating confidence. This footage screams confidence. Now, imagine being in the cockpit. You've got the multifunction display spread across the console, radar imagery, infrared visuals, tactical overlays, all integrated into your helmet. You move your head, the targeting symbology follows your gaze. You glance at a contact, and instantly, the computer tracks it. That's power. That's the future. China's developing its own AI-assisted battle management system, which means pilots won't be alone in decision-making. The jet itself will analyze, prioritize, and recommend actions in real time. It's what we call pilot augmentation. And that's something even veteran US systems are still refining. When I see that, I think of the next generation. Future wars won't be about who has the fastest jet, they'll be about who has the smartest ecosystem. The J-20's clearly part of that future. Now, there's another segment where the jet climbs to altitude, performs a slow roll, and then dives into a high-speed pass. That's not just for show, that's thermal management testing. At those speeds, the skin temperature can exceed 300 degrees Celsius. The coating needs to maintain radar absorbency even under that heat load. The fact that they're doing this in public tells me they're confident in the material's endurance. From a pilot's perspective, you always respect that kind of engineering. Because in the end, our lives depend on those details. There's something else about the sound. A trained ear can hear aerodynamic efficiency. When a jet slices through air cleanly, the turbulence noise is minimal. That's what I hear here: smooth, laminar flow. That means they've nailed boundary layer management. The intake shaping, wing root blending, it's all tuned perfectly. Now, people often ask, would the J-20 beat the F-22 in a fight? That's a complicated question. Air combat's not a boxing match, it's chess played at Mach 2. It depends on who sees whom first, who fires first, who jams whose radar, and who manages energy better. In pure stealth-on-stealth engagement, both sides might not even know they're being tracked. But what this footage shows me is that the J-20's not a paper dragon. It's a real one. Let us get back to the human side for a moment. Watching the pilot exit the cockpit after landing, you can see the calm expression, the measured salute to the ground crew. That's professionalism. Behind every jet like this, there are thousands of engineers, mechanics, programmers, and analysts making it possible. It's the culmination of national willpower expressed through flight. I've flown through storms, through lightning, through sonic booms, but nothing compares to the feeling of seeing humanity push beyond limits. Whether it's American, Russian, or Chinese, when we conquer the sky, we all share that triumph. So, what does this footage really mean for the world? It means we've entered an era where air dominance is no longer monopolized. The J-20 represents a new balance. A new equation. The skies are evolving, and we're witnessing that evolution unfold in real time. I look at the mighty dragon and think this is how legends begin. Not with war, but with precision, ambition, and courage. The J-20 isn't just a machine, it's a message. A message that says, we can dream too. We can fly too. And as a pilot, I respect that deeply. The last shot in the footage shows the J-20 taxiing under twilight, engines glowing softly, the air shimmering in its wake. The camera lingers, and you can almost feel the heat radiating through the frame. That's the image that stays with me. The mighty dragon, calm after flight, power at rest. It reminds me why we fly, not to dominate, but to understand what's possible when you chase the sky without fear. So, to every young pilot watching this, remember this moment. The age of the sky is changing, and the next great chapter isn't about competition, it's about creation. The J-20 may have started as a secret project in Chengdu, but today, it's a symbol of what happens when vision meets persistence. And that's what makes this footage so powerful. It's not just an air show, it's a glimpse into the future of flight.